Hey everyone. In this episode, there is some light discussion on mental health topics, such as depression, anxiety, and eating disorders. So if this brings anything up for you, maybe give this one a miss. Thanks.
Welcome to Net Talk, another week and another guest. I'm Alex.
I'm Mitch.
And we are joined by Alissa.
Hello, thank you for having me.
That's all right. Welcome to the
Thank you
show.
very much. Thank you.
Alissa Kinkela, full name
Yes.
for a full introduction. We start with the slay and shame, even for our guests, okay? Your pit and peak, your win, your loss of any period of time.
Do you want to go first or do you want us to go first? I make Alex go first every week so that
Okay,
I can think
well,
of...
Yeah, don't disrupt the flow.
Yeah.
Go for it. I'll go last, by all means.
My slay is for you, bringing some brownies.
Oh.
They're not on the table, but they were.
And we haven't actually
They're
tried one, so they might be really bad.
Yeah,
But
maybe we
Well,
should...
who knows? I was about to say, don't put me on a pedestal yet.
Did you make them?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
That's
okay.
my slay. That you made us brownies.
Yeah.
What can my shame be?
If they're bad.
If they're bad, I'll
Yeah.
shame.
Oh, okay.
Next
No, that's
episode,
fair.
we'll
We should do
dedicate
a
20 minutes to it.
mid-episode trial.
I was about to say,
shame.
level intervention.
Yeah.
Book on.
That's our sponsor. Alyssa's brownies. Sorry, Andor. Not today.
We're trying mukbang on this channel.
Sorry.
Mukbangs? You know what they are?
Milk buns.
Mukbangs, where everyone's
eat-
silent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
You just
no.
eat into the mic, but I don't think that...
Oh,
easy
the
for your
old
viewers.
ASMR.
No, a few people
ASMR.
have complained about Mitch's
her
mouth noises on
partner
the early-
specifically hates my little...
I hate showing.
We're
It's disgusting.
cutting the microphones.
These mics
My
pick up
shame
the-
again is for that, right then.
Okay, fine.
All right.
My slay is... Yeah, you bringing brownies. I'm going to double up. I don't care. My shame is for a phone call I had earlier, which made me unable to eat the burger that I just ordered. Is it my fault? Up
Yes,
for debate.
yes.
It's not. It's not
It's
my
yours.
fault. No, it's not. Yeah, all you, Alyssa.
I'm going to go third with the sleigh. The brownies, they are pretty good because I did try them. So
Okay.
I'm going to leave that standard there and then my shame. I can't think of anything but other than my college season, which we were like one in... I don't want to say, you might want to look it up, but like...
Oh, we've got it here.
Oh, yeah. So
I'm
you...
sure Alex has got that. Look at the stats.
Yeah, no, you could be specific, but our college season as a team was a shame.
That's all right.
That's okay. You live and you learn, and now I'm here.
So now that we've got that out of the way, I will say on that, playing college, Big Ten, I saw a stat literally today. I don't know if it was 7% or 3%. My memory isn't very good apparently. But of all athletes get to play college, or even less. I feel like it was 3% then.
I don't know specifically, but I know for women's volleyball, I think in the Big Ten specifically, it's less than 1%.
Yeah, it was
So
Big
I
Ten,
think,
yeah.
1% or less for volleyball or Big Ten specifically.
yeah.
I think you're right, yeah.
We were
So-
talking about how big the women's side of NCAA volleyball is, and there were 300 organisations on the women's side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Men's side was a lot less.
and
but
you're in the best league
like-
with 16 teams?
nine,
Big Ten has 16?
We just added 4, I think
20,
it's 16.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
16.
Do they
It
still
could be
call
20
it the Big
soon.
Ten? Oh, God. But hey,
It's got a nice ring to it.
you still played.
I still played there.
18.
They should just call it the Big 18. Like,
No.
yeah.
You got,
No.
you got Big 12, you got Big 12. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's
fair
just
enough.
too
Is there a
confusing.
Big 12 as well?
there's a Big 12, I'm pretty sure, but I think...
We're going to have
it's gonna
to, we'll wait until we get to the NCAA and Alex and I can
gonna say, I
ask
knew it
all
was
the
10.
questions that make NCAA Div 1 very confusing for us.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
It's still confusing to me, even after 3.5 years.
Damn, all right. That's all our questions out.
I'll be...
Okay, but let's start with like, how did you find volleyball and when did you start? Like, give us the give us the
lowdown?
career.
The timeline.
Yeah, the little
Yeah.
brief timeline.
So keep it brief. Go in
Yeah.
detail.
Keep it brief. All right, yeah, we've got all day. So I've got an older brother and I've got a younger sister. They both played basketball. So growing up, it was very much a heavy basketball family. Friday nights, Saturday mornings were just full of like rep basketball, domestic basketball. So I was like, you know what? I'll give my hand at basketball. Tried that, hated it. People were pushing me over. I was not a physical person. Like I got pushed down. Like I cried for like hours and hours. I was just like, I don't know if I'm because I'm sensitive or because I just didn't like the physical contact. So I was like, nah, not for me.
That's fair enough though.
Yeah, I was like,
Don't touch me. I want to play sport. Like,
no,
don't-
it's very. Everyone's just like up on you. I'm just like, get
Yeah.
off. Like
That's why I haven't played
Oh.
basketball AFL.
Yeah, I miss AFL.
Oh.
I miss a bit of a contact sport. You
That's what I'm
don't
saying.
get that anymore.
But like
different
right now,
way.
I'm just like, oh, like maybe AFL. I do want to go to AFL. But like,
Yeah.
not enough people
you
going
do?
over there.
Oh, that's
I
the
can't-
trend right now.
Yeah, that is the
Make the
trend.
Good women's volleyball players come back to Australia.
Not naming any names, but
Yeah.
so I was like, not for me. Then I tried a heaps of. I tried like swimming. I did karate. Was quite good at karate. Took like 3 kids on at once.
Wait, so you left a sport because of contact and then went to karate and was good at it?
Well, yeah,
How does
because
that work?
I was like, I don't know. How does that? Well, I was up in the ranks. I was like able to do like 30 sit-ups at a time. Felt good about myself. And mind you, I was like 10 years old. So I did swimming. I even did like tap dancing and dancing for a while. Did acting for a day. Hated that. I don't know why I did that.
At 10, acting.
Acting.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was like acting, singing, dancing for. I hated that. I don't know why I did that. And then I think I did try my hand at netball. And then I was like, okay, I'm doing all these sports, but I don't really like it. So I was at Dandy for, actually no, this was for basketball. So I was at Dandenong Stadium, and I saw this little flyer on the wall next to court 1, right, that big court, and it said Spikes, and I was like, oh, you know what? Well, I've tried every other sport there is. Why not try volleyball?
Is this
Volleyball.
where I say you're probably the only athlete that's ever gotten into volleyball from Spikes?
I
Plays
think
it for
so.
fun.
I've never heard of
Everyone's
anyone that's
continued.
continued from Spikes Zone.
Yeah.
Everyone's done it at least through high school or something. I was like, but
Yeah.
my high school didn't do anything
Yeah.
volleyball.
Volleyball related.
I mean, they did, but it was just tennis or shit. So I was like, oh, you know what? I'll just give my hand a day. I'll give it a go. And it was like Wednesday nights at something. Mind you, it was not the same organization as it is now. So it was like it was all these different coaches who I just haven't seen in years now. But I was like, you know, I'll give it a go. And I stuck with it because I love my friends there. I have really good friends.
Okay.
I mean, they may or may not watch this. I don't know. But
Get them on.
I was like Darcy and someone else. But that's
Oh.
okay. No, I don't think they're playing volleyball
Don't
anymore.
invite the other friend.
was like-
You'll be ridiculed for forgetting that.
And so I was like, okay, I showed up every week. And then, yeah, eventually Luke Campbell came along and it kind of joined with GMVA and I got invited to GMVA. And I just kind of started from there. I hated it from there. And then but I was like, no, stick with it. And now I'm here.
And you're like, that was worth it.
That
Question
it was
mark.
worth it.
The standard of Australian volleyball pathway is like disliking it until you start
Until you
getting
start,
good and
yeah.
getting into proper teams. Because it's no one's first option. You try
No.
every other sport.
We're all the rejects
Maybe.
normally.
Hey, I had options. No, I didn't. But
Yeah, no,
then,
yeah.
like everyone, I guess you didn't have the opportunity at school.
No.
But like the reason why most people, I guess, Victorian pathway through school is you just hang around because it's fun. Like I played
Yeah.
with a
Yeah,
bunch
you
of
fuck
idiots
around
and we
with
all
it,
just
yeah.
sucked.
And now you play with a bunch of idiots.
And now I'm playing with a bunch of idiots, but we're better. So
It's like I'm more skilled now. I actually
Yeah.
I can play it.
yeah.
And then
Someone from VA probably listening to this going, wow, one athlete stuck around from Spikes. Oh my God.
it's worth it.
Volleyball's marketing is not too hot.
Yeah.
That flyer works. The flyer
That
works.
flyer
and
must
kept
have
you
worked.
around.
We bring that back.
But
Yeah.
And then and I was like, yeah, I joined Monash. Okay, from there it gets a bit blurry because I have no idea what happens first, what happens later. I know somewhere between it's like Monash, national team, state team, AVL.
All the same.
In the same sort of
yeah.
Obviously not when I was like 12 years old, but like as I got better.
13.
13 I was in AVL. And then I went through college and now I'm back.
We'll talk about
Doing-
college. We'll talk about college in a bit. But
Yeah.
I remember when I first met you, would have been in
was that?
2018. You would have been like, I don't know if I met you because we played Uni Blues for that tournament at MSAC.
Yes.
I feel like you would have been.
I think I did see you.
yeah, Mitch wasn't playing.
Okay.
No,
then
I actually was playing. Uni Blues team was pretty average. Sorry,
don't
to
sell
anyone
yourself short.
who was in that. I would have been like 19 in 20. Yeah, I was 19. 1920. I was 20.
21.
No, I was 20. I was 20 in 2018. And I was not very good, but I was a starter on that Uni Blues team. So I was like,
that speaks level.
And
I
then
was a junior player on that team.
you didn't play that year.
No, sorry, I
Yeah.
did withdraw that year because it was like clashed with year 12. I
Yeah,
remember.
and also that was the year that they scrapped the league
And
and,
it was
we
just a
played a
one-week
5-day tournament at
Yeah.
MSAC and it was like 40 degrees. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh shit.
Yeah, but I remember you the next year. You would have been like 17 at the time, I reckon.
If that was 2018, I was 16 that first year. Next year was 17, yeah.
Yeah, and you like carried Monash to the final against Renegades, and then Renegades smashed you. I feel like, but I feel like I remember you being like, "Whoa, she's 17 and she's dominating." But then,
Well, we overlapped a bit at GMVA.
you guys did.
Yeah, I was at GMVA.
I do remember you, and then you kind of disappeared. I was like,
yeah, I just
That's
where did
it.
this orange head person go?
Yeah. I went a different way and stopped.
Yeah.
Well, Dandenong's so far from us.
Yeah, it was sort of
Like
that like
to train.
verging.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is like the discussion of committing to volleyball at
Yeah.
that age. You're either looking at college, which we'll get into,
Yeah.
or going into like a more full-time training program, which GMVA offered. And I was
Or going pro.
Or going pro. Oh, the travel's too far. Oh, I'll just do university. I won't.
I was
do
just
that.
a uni game.
Won't bother.
Uni games.
Oh, cancelled
Yeah, for 3 years.
for 3 years in a row.
Yeah. So you did. Yeah. So you were very. I don't know anyone that age that good though. Like 17.
Alex?
Yeah, but he didn't carry Renegades to a final until. Well, I don't think
Till
he
everyone-
still
I
has.
mean, he
Till
was
everyone
a
got
junior
benched.
player at
Till
AVL.
everyone got benched and
Yeah.
and then it was my time to shine. I just
So-
needed 4 injuries to get
So,
my shot.
so this year. Well, sorry, 2024. No, but I remember seeing you at 2019 played Monash, and I was like, oh my god.
Oh, me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not him. He would
I
never.
was about to say,
No.
like, yeah, I don't remember.
I never
but
see
go
Alex
off.
play and go, oh my god, no. Actually, sometimes.
I'm trying to get my timeline right because I know we were only in one grand final. I think we won. I know we won gold once, and then from there it was
Yeah.
just like
Renegades.
semifinals. Yeah.
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 I think that was 2019 because that's the
Because
year
we
when-
officially met Vipers that year.
Yeah.
You played Vipers, and that was the first year. No, I barely.
I know.
met
I
as well.
knew your face. I just like didn't remember officially meeting.
No,
Not easy
I
how a lot of
remember-
volleyball goes. You just see people's faces
Yeah.
around everywhere.
Yeah.
And then also, maybe Victorian volleyball is more of a blur for you because you actually like left it to go to college.
Yeah.
But then for us, it's just like a blur though because cancelled seasons.
Yeah.
That period after that.
But I ended up meeting people anyway, like
yeah.
a few years later. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, like I've seen you around,
Yeah.
but I just never formally met you before. It's so nice to talk to you now.
I feel like I only remember because of the Canberra flight that year. It was traumatic. I don't know if you remember it. It
No,
was
but what happened?
very turbulent, and I was.
Actually, no, I was clutching on George's seat.
Yeah, me and Bo were next to each other, like almost holding
Yeah, I was like,
hands.
we're gonna die. This is it. This is
Embracing
it.
each
We
other.
were embracing, yeah. And that was the only other reason why I remember it is because that was when Bahoy introduced me to Peaky Blinders, which is like a great show. So
Love that show.
Right?
They're doing a movie, I think.
yeah, they are. It
Yeah.
got
With
wrapped
Cillian
up.
Murphy. Yeah,
Yeah. Anyways, back to the actual topic.
that's another
podcast
episode.
about. So, all right. Before we talk about, let's go into college.
Go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. So, what was the overall college experience like? If you could summarize it, 'cause we'll dive into details, but like, if you could summarize it,
Worth going. Definitely worth going to experience college. But obviously, I think if you ask any person who goes to college, they have like, little your ups and downs, what have you. Mostly more downs than ups. But like, it's definitely worth going. I would say to anyone who is thinking of going to college, definitely go. But like, it's intense. Definitely different to Australian volleyball night and day. In terms of coaching, in terms of like team and dynamics and overall style of play. Especially, it depends on what conference you go to, obviously.
yeah.
But it was intense to say the least. But
Is there much difference between the organisations? You went to a Big Ten college, which we determined is the league of is the conference of 18 teams. Is there much difference between those, or I mean, the top end have ginormous markets behind them, but are they all sort of running similar programs?
in terms of like
Yeah, maybe the bottom order of that ladder. Is there much difference between your university and
Do you
the
mean
ones
like
around
training
you played?
schedules and
Yeah,
stuff?
training schedule, sort of the stadium.
Oh no, very, very much different. I mean, I know if anyone cares to like look it up, obviously we were on the bottom of the ladder. Granted that we didn't win many games, we didn't have that much funding compared to say like Nebraska or Wisconsin or Minnesota.
Did we say that Alyssa plays for Rutgers?
Yeah.
I don't
Rutgers.
think we said that.
No, but
Maybe we're trying to hide the
anyone,
fact.
anyone who's like, you know, diehard volleyball fan would know Rutgers, but like we are in the Big Ten, but not as popular as Nebraska. But we're still there. We'll just look at the bottom of the ladder. But it was night and day difference, I would say. For example, I play for Monash, and any normal state league team would train two to three times a week. State league on Saturdays, right? College over there, depending on what season you're in. Say in season or preseason, roughly, you would train 2 to 4 hours a day. So that's like 2 to 3 hours of practice and an hour of lifting, and then you've got like you obviously got your prehab stuff in the morning to like warm up your shoulders and what have you. You have a lot of appointments, like doctor's appointments, like coaching appointments, meetings with coaches. Sorry, and then. Because we were in the Big Ten, we would travel literally from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Right.
So we would travel maybe a good on average 3 days a week.
Jesus.
You know, red-eye flights and then play the next day. So it's definitely like volleyball is
The thing.
over there.
Yeah.
You're there. If you're at college, you're there for volleyball. Even though you're a student athlete, it's more like athlete-student. I found that out the hard way, but definitely not a day difference
Yeah, okay.
in state league to college.
How many games a week? Because we couldn't really,
Yeah,
per team, it
It
was
seemed
hard.
sort of irregular.
It was
over
irregular.
when the breaks are, or sometimes teams seem to get like a 3-day break. Sometimes,
Yeah.
And
full
the other
week,
thing-
sometimes.
because it was hard for us to follow because you had your Big Ten matches, which were broadcast on Volleyball World TV, which is great. But then you had your NCAA matches, which are not broadcast. So I
that
couldn't.
was only in America.
So I couldn't work out
Yeah,
how many games like it's like
Yeah.
Rutgers. Like how many games per week would you have? Like
For sure. I mean, given we did have 4 new teams were added, which were literally, I mean, 2 or 3 of them were on the West Coast, so like UCLA, USC. Actually, no, we didn't travel to USC or UCLA. They came to us. So we traveled up to Washington State. So it would be like one random game during the week, like Wednesday or Thursday, and then maybe it would be one game on Saturday. So it would be like maybe 2 a week with like an odd 3.
yeah,
But
okay.
it was just so irregular that we I think we had the worst schedule for,
really?
for volleyball
Yeah.
volleyball teams. Big Ten, we had the worst flight schedules in the
Like Rutgers or just volleyballers in general.
Big Ten volleyball because not even like the football team or the basketball team would travel as much as we did. We were literally out for like 3 or 4 days a week, and like school would be second because we'd have like notify our professors like, oh, we can't make class, and like I know some of my friends missed half a semester's worth of classes, and you know the professors got so angry at them because like we just had to miss out on so much volleyball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So 2 to 3 times a week. It was very irregular though. It was so bad,
that's
so bad.
That sounds brutal, especially like because the Polish league does that where they do 2, sometimes 3 matches a week.
Yeah.
but they don't have to study,
yeah. They're
Like, so that's-
professional
That's a whole
athletes.
job.
and they're
yeah.
getting paid probably 6 figures minimum.
Yeah.
to play. Like,
And when it's so irregular, would that sort of impact feeling burnt out with volleyball? A lot of people, or like Dylan Chesi of Melbourne Viper, has spoken about leaving the sport for a couple of years after just getting burnt out. I'd assume that if you're having an irregular schedule as well, you don't have time for classes, you don't have time for de-stressing on regular intervals. Does that burn you out from volleyball a bit?
Yes, I mean I probably had it a tad easier because I did study human resource management and labor relations, which is predominantly online.
Yeah.
So that was okay in the sense. But I know a bunch of my friends who did like engineering and biology or chemistry. They would get like 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night. They would get sick even if the weather was perfectly fine, like it wasn't winter, it was just summer, it was nice. They would get sick just from like the stress and just not eating properly, and they would just go from practice to class from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. at night and won't get back until late, and they just wouldn't eat because they have no time.
Yeah.
So it was very much a burnout, and on the plane too. That was like the only real time we got to relax. But even then, people were using it to study. You had like the overhead light. People were just like taking notes, and they're just getting like, I need to pass. Like I need to get to this. Like it was intense.
Yeah.
Intense.
So that sort of leads us to like our main segment, I guess. Like sort of mental health in high performance sport is not really talked about at all. At some stage, we'd love to get an expert on to really sit down with a group of us and do a really good episode. But for now, like you spoke to us off air a little bit about like you saw a lot of anxiety, depression, and eating disorders from the environment of NCAA.
Right.
What do you reckon is like the biggest cause for that?
Biggest cause.
Is it the schedule or like the coaching or the expectations or a bit of everything?
It was very much coaching and expectations, and from that derives everything else. So you've got like the standards at what every single athlete should be at and what they're hearing from the coaches, and then all the other problems kind of follow from there. So like you got added pressure from like the scheduling, added pressure from school and trying to balance that. So in my experience, it was very much from the coaching staff that kind of derived everything. And a lot of whenever we talk about it as the team, it would just be like my coach said this, I got to perform like this, I got to do this for the coach. It was always something the coach. So it was for us anyway. It was derived from like
the coach.
Yeah.
Coach and
Who
the
is
coaching staff.
setting expectations for the team.
Potentially
Yeah.
far too high.
Yeah, is that difficult when you're a bottom order team where the expectations aren't matching maybe what you're getting in transfer portal draw?
No, not really. It was kind of expected given that we were on the bottom half / bottom of the ladder. It was whenever we played, we knew what to expect. I mean, we tried our best in every single game, but it was very much our expectations from the coach met with our standing on the ladder. So obviously she wasn't going to be like, you need to be like Nebraska, blah 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 blah. But like in terms of transfer portals and trying to get people in our team, we didn't really get that much. It was very much getting them as freshmen or coming straight out of a high school. So
sort of work with what you're given.
yeah, work with what you're given. Yeah, exactly.
So like, would you say if like in terms of like going back to like anxiety, depression and like from the coaches that listen to this that may eventually go on to like coach at that level or at least coach, you know, an academy, a GMVA where you're seeing athletes 5 times a week, 6 times a week. Like, what do you reckon is the best way for them to avoid that situation and to like just from your personal experience, like what would you have rather the coach do? I guess.
I mean, I think it's hard to avoid, especially, I mean, everyone takes, criticism and like everyone interprets their sport differently. So I feel like it's hard to avoid depression and anxiety. Obviously there's different severities, but the funny thing is my coach did kind of advocate for mental health, but she was still the one kind of pursuing and maintaining all our issues per se. But from my experience, it was very much, I hate to say, but it was very much trauma bonding.
Yeah.
But I kind of confided with my teammates because we were such a close-knit team. That's the thing. It's either you have a shit coaching staff and a great team, or it's vice versa. We have a shit team and great coaching staff. I was fortunate enough to be surrounded by like amazing people. Like I fucking love my team. I'm still so close with them. I miss them so much. But from what I've seen with my friends, we chatted with each other. And granted, we did have external resources such as psychology and like therapists and all that. So we did utilize them.
Yeah.
But we fell on each other to get through stuff. And if it really got bad, and I'm not saying to do this for like, this is just for college, especially when it got really extreme. People did leave because it was that intense. But for like, you know, GMVA, if you're here, if you're facing that kind of stuff, definitely surround yourself with people like your teammates who you know, you love and you trust, and just be open about it. Because like obviously they may not be experiencing the same thing as you, but like it's just nice knowing that you have their support and that you could always talk to them. So have friends for me was huge because I could just trust them.
Network and that.
I had that network, had that safety net, and I love them. So again, if it really gets that bad, leave. But like I wouldn't suggest that. That's very extreme. That's very extreme.
But I will say that Alex and I, we've talked about this. I don't know if we posted the episode where we talked about the transfer rules in volleyball, especially volleyball Victoria, because that's our local state league. But like I made a point where I think there should be no transfer limits. Hot take, I know.
I agree.
But in a developing sport in a country where we're not paid to play the highest level, and all three of us in this room have played at the highest level in Australia and for Australia and have not been paid a cent and
have paid money
to do it. And it would probably for you the most, but like easily well and truly more than 10 grand by now. Probably more
10 grand a single time.
I was doing the math in my head. I was like, probably like 50 grand by now, the amount of travel we've done. But I think people should be able to play where they feel the most, safe, first and foremost, comfortable and empowered. Like, and coaches may be a part of that, players may be a part of that, friends may be a part of that. But it's a hot topic at the moment because we're about to start a new season. I'm running trials for my team and I have to think about transfers.
Yeah.
And it's a pain in the ass because I want to be able to pick the players that are going to work well for the team and for me. And from their point of view, I want them to feel comfortable and like each other and create a good group. But I'm limited in the sense that I have to pick positionally first because I have certain position requirements and transfers just hinder all that. And as you talk about, like, it can be hard to leave sometimes because you have nowhere to go because you're a transfer. And that stinks. That really stinks.
There's so many different contexts to college in the US as well.
Oh, it's very different.
About where you're going.
Yeah.
You were at college over the introduction of like NIL money, which then didn't get you anything as an international.
Yeah, no.
But like, I remember the discussion and debate surrounding that is like, players are just going to go to the biggest markets out there. But then it, like a lot of people do still value the system that they're in, whether it is sustainable. But then it's like, that just adds another thing. Maybe you stay in a bad system because there's a bit of a monetary cloud sitting above your head going, I can't leave this market because I lose this. Like there's so many different issues in team sports that need to be navigated.
It's also how you be perceived too, especially in that certain circumstance. If you were to leave such a high paying NIL deals, like, and if you do happen to move, it's like, why did they move? Like, was it not good enough? Like, did you go into something better? Are you only chasing money? Like, are you doing it for
negative
clout?
Chat in media as well about like,
Exactly.
they left because they're really tough to work with in a team. So they go into this other person just because they want to be the star. Like, there's a lot of negative.
It's like, media is huge over there, especially in college and volleyball, football, basketball, like all of that stuff. You see everyone comment. Everyone has obviously their own opinions, but like it's huge.
It's probably brutal as well. But before, what's NIL again? Just go for the audience.
Name, image, likeness. So college athletes can profit off their own name through sponsorships, media appearances, all that stuff, which used to be college athletes, you are an amateur, you can't have been paid professionally or you are ineligible.
But unis used to scare around that all the time.
But with gifts and other things in the old days. But
there's a free house.
There's a few players, like a college football player like lost a trophy because he got gifted a car and it counted as payment. But now there is the incentive to actually make money as an athlete because you are earning so much money for the colleges.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason why they can invest so much in their stadiums. It's because the colleges are making money.
So much money,
Absolutely.
But going back to media and like I went past an article recently about whether it was true or not, who knows, but I'm sure you could speak to this a little bit, about those Nebraska players because they are so hot in the media, and they went from a point where they probably were the most followed uni, but suddenly after that match of world-breaking match where they had 92,000 spectators, whatever, so it suddenly exploded. And I think there was a lot of comments around,
Skyrocketed.
like none of them were trained for media. Like none of them were trained to handle that amount of overwhelming, even if it was support or hate. Like there was a lot of people talking about, specifically Harper Murray, how she had quite a big of an episode and breakdown about the amount of media that she was getting for some certain decisions that she made. But you know, what was that like? Because I know, well, your Instagram page is now just you getting tagged in Rutgers for years.
Yeah, well, previously, but not anymore. Not anymore. I'm on private, but I mean, that's comparing me. I'm not saying that you are comparing, but like comparing me to Harper, it's like that's such a huge difference. I'm sure. Like, because they're literally like celebrities. Like, the stuff that I've heard, how they get treated, like celebrity treatment type style, like it's out of this world.
Yeah.
But me, yeah, sure, I got tagged, but like that was like probably the most.
But like, was
like,
that even?
No one's gonna be chasing me down. Like, oh, look at this! Oh my god! Like, no, everyone just kind of like turned a blind eye. Like, they didn't even know I was an athlete. Like, no one really comes up to you.
Okay. But did you get like?
I did get
random followers, comments.
Oh yeah,
like, yeah. Okay.
Actually, no, yeah, I did get a few. I mean, I was probably irrelevant, but I am private for my Instagram account. But I would get like a lot of random. Like, I got a lot of followers who are fans, and I had a few comments saying like, you know, like I love you, like I love my daughter loves watching you play, and like you, and I got like, which I wasn't ever used to, because I was like, sure, wasn't. You know, getting any comments is amazing, but like I wasn't used to it, because it's like, oh, like I forget that people were actually watching my team play, and they will come up to me after games, and people I've never met before. Like, I have, like, for example, I had a security guard come after me after my senior game, my last ever game. He was like, I've watched you for the past 3.5 years, and you're amazing, and like I know you don't know me, but like I've watched you grown up, and you're just so good to watch, and you're such a character. I was like, holy shit, like you're like, thank you so much. Like I started borderline crying. I was like coming from him, and I just can't imagine. And I had a mother who was like, my daughter loves you. I was like, I was like, holy shit, like really, like me? I just came from like Australia, like I'm just doing what I'm doing best. So like I didn't. And like we never really got media changes because we didn't
expect
exactly. We don't get that much media to be fair, but like we still have like, you know, mannerisms like not saying or like repeating
always be like
repeating question, like just like certain basic things, but like nowhere near to like Nebraska and Minnesota. But like it's still nice knowing like I had that influence. I was like,
unfathomable to Australians
to think about
the college sports, NCAA, volleyball as well. Like the market that is there, it's on ESPN. It's
what's on volleyball. Like
it's on Volleyball World as well. Like the Big Ten being a conference, it gets more views in live attendance than Plus Liga matches, than the Super League, than Champions League, like
and all of AVL combined.
Yeah.
And 10 times over.
And it's only increasing too. There's like an increasing amount of watches in female volleyball.
I feel like every week the NCAA posted at least 2 or 3 world breaking, stadium record breaking like home round attendances. Like Penn State was always doing it. So is Louisville. So is Nebraska. Like,
and like a little sidetrack of that to talk about like women's role in the sport and women's coaches. It is a heavily female-dominated sport, like in America.
Yeah.
And it's huge, the market there. Yeah. And we're like talking about the fact that this is the first year that a women's coach has won NCAA Div 1.
Amazing.
With an amazing story, being a cancer patient. What was her name?
Katie Schumacher.
Katie Schumacher. Like the lack of women's coaching roles is still lagging behind what it should be.
Yeah. I'm... Like, I'm not saying I'm disappointed, but, like, especially in Australia, it's just, like, I know female athletes always would like to have, a female role model I mean, not saying nothing against like male coaches. They're fine, but like
Too many coaches.
it would be nice to see more female coaches, and especially in state league, because it's just like, I mean, I don't know, but for my experience, it's just like something you have a different connection to a female coach as opposed to like a male coach.
Yeah.
So I have like great male connections with coaches. But like there's just like a different
Something
level.
different.
Yeah, like another something.
Like another layer of
Another
relationship
layer.
with your coach. Like you
Exactly.
can relate to almost.
Exactly. So like it would be nice to see that, but like obviously
I mean, Australia really should, because we're in such a growth position to develop specifically coaching opportunities.
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
you're improving the development and training of new coaches, it should really just be able to funnel them equally to have more female coaches.
yeah. And I don't know what the reason or the cause behind that is. I don't know if it's because of time or if like
I've heard lots of like, even listening to the Out of System podcast with Aurelie Julian, I think her name is.
Ariel, I think. Oh.
Yeah, Ariel. Yeah, she's a TikTok coach who does Beta Bay.
TikTok coach. She'll be insulted by that. She's a good coach.
She's a very, very good coach. Well, she's the co-founder or co-owner of Beta Bay. Yeah, she's a massive coach.
Yeah.
And very good. And on the podcast, she was sort of saying like she's a female coach that coaches boys, and she thinks that she should put more work into boys volleyball in America. And we were talking about this before you arrived, but that's such an interesting take if you think about it. But it kind of makes sense, but I would argue it also doesn't make sense. It makes sense for the fact that men's volleyball in America is there's such a difference between the two. Like I feel like in most European countries, the men's and women's leagues are fairly similar because there's a pro league in each. But in America, the NCAA men's is so much lower in media and in participation and in quality than the women's, which I found interesting. And she talked about that, and she was basically just saying like, if the men's get better in America, the women's will only get better as well. But then it's like, why wouldn't you coach women? Having also said, I want more female role models. I don't know if she said that, but I'm just like, as you said, like female role models would be interesting, like having that and then having more, I don't know. Food for thought is more the point. But I thought that was an interesting take of like, if you improve the lower underrepresented side, they both get the benefit out of it. But then here it's like, I actually don't know which is more popular in Australia, men's or women's.
Let's grow both.
That's right. Yeah, well, absolutely, we have to go both. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought that was an interesting point.
Yeah. Well, if you have an underrepresented group in the States, such as the guys, probably want to advocate for that more. Because, I mean, there's probably it's the opposite in the States, I reckon, because you have, I think, more female coaches in, like, volleyball and all that stuff. So, like, maybe...
We haven't seen the stats, but the stat that I was looking at... Well,
they're definitely higher than Australia, that's for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
So,
not
like,
hard,
that's
though.
the biggest difference.
I feel like you pulled it up earlier. You were like, there's over 300 teams in women's, but there's like 50 in the men for the NCAA Div 1.
Also the competing nature of it too, because I know there's the scholarships given out. It's very selective.
Yeah.
Or like they're on rotation or something with the guys. Like one person gets it that semester, another person gets it the next semester. So it's very competitive.
And it's
it was-
competing sports as well,
Yeah.
because basketball will take most along with
Yeah.
football. And then women's, it's like, what's the dominant women's sport in America? It's like, because here it's netball by a country mile. So then it's like, okay, but what is the dominant women's sport in America? I actually don't know.
I would say volleyball.
Volleyball.
Probably
Volleyball,
volleyball.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was just a big talking point from that Penn State Louisiana final that happened in Div 1, because it was two women's head coaches coming up against each
Yeah.
other. And it is just a surprising stat to see that it's the first women's head
time,
coach
Yeah.
to win.
Which is good.
Good. And it had a huge market there in person watching.
Yeah. It only grows from there, really. And hopefully that's like another gateway to advocate for more female coaches.
Yeah.
More time on that.
But it's like, okay, it's like the whole talk about having role models is like, oh, if she can do it, I can do it.
Exactly.
Like, that is really important. And now that it's finally happened, it's like we can get past that. I think that's what I think she said that in her post-game interview. It's like, I'm happy for it, but I'm sad that it's taken this long. But like now we can get past it. Like
Yeah.
now it's done, we can do it again. Like I thought she said that, and that was really good. Do you reckon like there's a lot of players that I can think of, and Alex, I reckon you can back me up here. Not without naming names, but like people who have come back from college and quit volleyball because of how taxing it's been. I reckon I could think of 10 people minimum. How do you reckon you combat that? Like, have you come back feeling like reinvigorated because you've got certain goals and aspirations, or have you been like, I'm happy I come back in the off season to give me 4 months before I have to go back to volleyball?
Oh, definitely the second option. I mean, I could go into specifics, but it was like coming back because I'm very much a family person. I miss my family.
Yeah.
So coming back home was just refreshing and like kind of sucks to say, but like volleyball over there at times felt like a chore, and I kind of fell out of love with it. But when I came back here, I was like, oh my god, like. I miss it. Like I know why I love it so much now.
Yeah.
Playing state league. So it was very much refreshing in that sense. But over there is very much it's a business.
Yeah.
So it's a job. So I understand why I felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
But it was refreshing to come back here every now and then. But when I got back, it was like, okay.
I'm back to the grind.
Come back to the grind and, grind it up for another 5-6 months and then I'll be home. Not going to lie, like I was counting down the days. When I literally landed back and I was like, I don't know, 100 days before I go. Like, which sucks, but like, that was just how I am as a person.
But it makes sense though, like with what you've told us, like,
I
don't know, Alex, you've been uni, like I was on the verge of going pro a couple of years back where I was getting contracts and umming and ahhing whether I should go and take the risk or not, and I decided against it. But like having to do what you said, like train every day, and then I'm not a university kind of guy, so I think I would never have to worry about that. But it just sounds like so much. It just sounds like, especially it's unfathomable for us state league players who just train twice a week and play on Saturdays. Like it sounds like way too much than what most people are prepared for, and you've done a really good job. It speaks volumes of your ability to come back and pretty much jump right back in. If you're honest.
Well, you can't really say much if you haven't experienced it. I know people like
That's true,
2 days a week could be a lot for people.
That's true.
So I'm just
that
like,
could be
you do to each their own.
Yeah.
But like,
but one more question that I just thought of, which is something that people. I've helped some athletes go over there and been part of the process a little bit in the past. Would you say it's beneficial to have a backup plan if you went over there and hated it? Like I know of a certain athlete I've worked with for a few years where it's like you go over there for a really big school, you get there, you hate it, and it's like, it's okay, I've got this transfer option into Div 2 or into a different conference that's not as brutal as Big Ten.
So you're saying like a backup plan to continue
to stay over there, maybe,
to stay over there, okay.
Like your backup plan might be just to come home and do uni here.
I mean, that's both. I was thinking about this question for a bit. Like either way, it's fine. The second option, I know countless of people who have gone to college and it just wasn't their thing, which is fine. They stayed there for a semester or a year and they just came back home. That was their option. That was their pathway to go. And that's totally fine. The other option is to transfer, but it's you just don't know. Obviously, you can't really chat to other colleges throughout your season, so it's just like you can definitely do that by all means. If you do want to transfer. Like you only know yourself.
Yeah.
So that is definitely an option. It's just a matter of how good the other colleges you're looking at, like, or if you truly trust the coaching staff, if you truly like the team that you could potentially transfer to. So I feel like there's always an option, even if you don't like college. But that's the biggest thing I would suggest people. If you are thinking to go to college, definitely do so.
Yeah.
Because if you don't like it, you can either transfer out, you go to a college that better suits you, or you can come back home and find another way to do what you love. Either way is fine, but always try college because it's a what if.
Yeah.
It's a big what if you didn't go,
There's
which
so
was
many
my biggest thing.
pathways through volleyball, so you might as well try them. College volleyball is one that has a timeline to do, so you might as well try it versus
and see how you go.
Others take that time you can do sort of at any phase of your volleyball career.
And it broadened your horizon, like expose yourself to different volleyball, which I wasn't I'm not too sure about this, but I'm so glad I did. Given that I didn't have the greatest experience, I'm so glad I did that because at least I've seen what I've seen. Like,
and you've played at the highest level in America.
Exactly. I loved it.
And I think that's important because we've talked about some of a lot of the negatives that come with that super high performance of volleyball. But I think it's important for people who are considering it to not feel like I'm so locked in, because I could imagine, and probably you in your first year may have felt like, fuck, I'm locked in for this for so long. But you don't have to be. There's backups. You can just come home.
No, for sure.
All right, it's time to hear from our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Andor Financial.
Now, as some of you know, a good friend of ours, good friend of the show, and our Melbourne Uni Renegades captain, Michael Cirillo, has recently started his own mortgage broking business.
Not only this, but Mike and Andor Financial have committed to supporting and sponsoring Net Talk for the indefinite future.
If you didn't know, Mike has spent the last 10 years in the finance industry in both financial planning and mortgage broking roles, and is super passionate about empowering people to take control of their financial future.
So you, or if anyone you know is in need of a home loan or would like to review their current lending situation, reach out to Mike and Andor Financial.
You can find out more information in the footnotes or description down below.
Thank you again to Andor Financial for sponsoring Net Talk. And we're back.
We're taking a little shift because...
Is it a shift? It's still NCAA.
It's still NCAA. It's still NCAA, but we're going to take 2 seconds to compliment Alissa's stats because
we've ranked on your team.
You've ranked on your team for too long and said it wasn't like
that's
the
just the reality.
Just,
there's nothing much to say.
There's a lot on a Rutgers page summary for yourself.
The only thing nice about that team is probably you. So
no,
hey, other players are pretty good.
I meant statistically.
Hey, statistically they're all right. It's just
individually we're fine.
It's just
as a team,
just couldn't put it together.
No, we couldn't fit the jigsaw puzzle. It was just like
there was a pretty big piece to that, and it was you probably hitting 70% of the balls every game for 3 years.
How's your shoulder after 3 years of that?
My shoulder's fine. Maybe this is a 70, not as much. Maybe like I don't know.
Because
I'm an opposite. I didn't get that set that much.
But you got to step into the passing line as well. Passing opposite here and there.
Passing here and there.
Passing stats.
When I was probably the last option that they wanted me to pass. Like, passing is not passing. Chuck Alissa in.
But I feel like I saw
not
you
ideal.
regularly. You were regularly losing though. So like,
I see a pattern here.
No, I mean like they would serve your pass. She would step out. Oh, Alyssa's passing.
Yeah.
And then it's just like they wouldn't. I don't think they serve.
No, because I wasn't scouting. I wasn't being scouted as a passer. I think I pass best when I'm surprised. So like, if you're facing one way. And I'm not there, but you're like, boom, I think I could dime it. But like, if I know you're going to set to me, fuck, like.
That's relatable. I've had that in a final. I got shifted to pass, that was my best passing game of my life.
The last time we won the final was when you played basketball.
Yeah.
Make it happen again.
After not having like passing reps at training for a little while. Did you get passing reps or you were dedicated opposite?
Dedicated opposite. But when we did passing reps, I would take myself out and I'll be on the outskirts of the court.
I would insert myself in.
No.
That's what you do.
Yeah, other people go, I would insert myself in. I was looking for as many reps as possible.
No.
It's okay.
I was off the court until I was forced on the court. My libero was like, Alissa, get your ass on the court. I was like,
we know you
not until I get told off. I would not pass. I would only practice A's, like the back A's. But I hate pass.
That's a random question we can add to this. What are the differences in calling for sets? Because
oh my God.
I feel like every international Melbourne Uni student that I've had at trials recently is just like,
I say this, like,
yeah, I'm like, I just hit an outside or like hit a 5 or a black.
Like,
well, our calls are wrong directly. They're the worst.
True, they are the worst. I like the Italian
the problem.
system.
But
anyways, what's the calls?
The Italian? I don't even know the Australian calls now.
That's fine. What are the American calls?
Wide, which is 5. What do you call it? Behind 5?
Yeah.
Sorry,
sure.
9. That's me. I'm 9. I call 9.
Is that red?
That's a red.
That's a red.
Yeah, that's our loose. Yeah.
And then I think for the back row it's opposite. So we've got A, B, pipe, C. Sorry. Now I'm getting confused.
This
Was
is
I?
the- this is a
I was writing a
standard.
C. Sorry.
Ah.
It's
Yuck. A back
A, B.
A is the
A
other
back
way.
A is
C, D,
Yeah.
pipe. So I think we went back flip.
Yeah.
And then middles had 101 calls. There was like fish, there was push, in,
My God.
w-
Slide.
wide,
Is that what it was called?
wide.
Was it is a slide?
A slide is a wide.
Oh God, that's confusing.
And then outsides were a 4, go,
That's our
and a
5.
rip.
A rip.
rip
What
is
is
a
a? Is that a
shit or is
short
that
ball?
A rip is a 2 meter
Yeah,
ball
sh-
in.
three. Yeah,
B
three.
pass.
Yeah.
Kind of not like a 3 meter ball.
No,
Yeah, but
our
like
3 is
a
different.
A B
Yeah.
pass, like a
Yeah.
So ours, this is Renegade Secrets. We like it.
No,
Who's
everyone
listening
needs.
to
No one wants to do what Renegades is calling.
No, well,
Don't
ours
do
is
a
the
giveaway.
Ours is the Italian one. So the numbers are representative of how far away it is from the setter. So a 1 is an A quick, a 2
Okay.
is a B quick, a 3 is a B pass, a 4 is a slow outside, a 5 is a fast outside.
I quite like that.
And then we have the most ridiculous calls from
For
behind.
behind.
Loose.
Only the opposites need to worry about. And it's like loose, but loose, technically, how it has been used, it could mean anything from a
slow
red,
ball
a slow
or-
behind,
yeah,
or
or-
fast.
or a-
So it's
yeah.
like I've changed to call D, which is more of a Viper's call, which is the
Yeah.
faster
Which is a fast
behind.
behind, yeah.
Right.
And I call that, but then, I mean, the setters just know me well enough that whatever I say, they
really-
set me the same ball. No
I was
matter
about to
what
say,
I
doesn't
You know what's-
doesn't matter.
You know what's hilarious? And I spoke to...
When I call fast and
No,
run slow.
I spoke to Mike about this the other day, recently. I was like, you and I both call loose, but like he will set your loose so much slower than
Yeah.
he'll set my loose.
But I think I've got it where if I actually say D
he's like,
with a bit of gusto, that actually means I'll be fast.
because no one can trust if he's going to be there or not.
Whoa.
Well,
Hey.
that was what makes a good setter. They just know
Yeah.
your tendencies. I quite
we
like
do have
that.
some pretty good
And I
setters.
hope a setter in the audience understood that last 3 minutes, but I hope every other listener is having as much of an
So-
aneurysm
Yeah.
as I am
So
or
confused.
anyone else. Nathan Roberts made it too simple. When we had him on, he said,
Oh yeah.
because I like asked, how do you find your footing in new teams? He goes,
Yeah.
it's easy, just talk, just the setters know what you want. They can find
Yeah.
my.
But is it another
Maybe-
language?
Yeah, but also maybe
But he's
the
also
setters
playing-
are a lot better. than
He's also
what
playing
you-
professionally. Like,
Yeah,
the setters are
your
pretty good.
NCAA setters are pretty good too, but
Yeah, was your setter pretty good? Name and shame.
shame.
They're good. No, they're good. They're good. They're great people. They're very good. They were very young, so they still have some like stuff to work through. But they were good.
Yeah,
They were good.
I was
believe-
amazed by the setters that were in the final were both freshmen, and that
Yeah.
was crazy. as
Izzy Stark was
Yeah, Izzy
unreal.
Stark, I don't
There's a
remember.
highlight video of her going around right now where she jumped one hand sets a perfect
Yeah.
behind ball for that
I've
Penn
seen-
State opposite.
yeah, she did a lot of
better,
one-handers.
Yeah.
Their passing wasn't amazing for a big chunk of it.
Louisville serving was pretty well. You can.
Yeah.
Which of those two teams
You
have
played
you
Penn State.
Penn State because they were in the Big Ten.
So yeah, we can talk about.
We never made it to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, but the record for your team is interesting. I mean,
Interesting.
it was
Is that like
better
a
in
cover?
2023. You were there for 3 years. No, but how NCAA records work is you have your overall record, which
Yes.
confuses someone like me because
Yeah.
I go,
That
you're
confused
in
me.
Big Ten, but you only play 19 games in your conference, which
Yes.
is Big Ten, correct?
Yes, correct.
Your record wasn't amazing. You got to win.
We got a win. Yeah,
Hey, that was
but
us in 2022.
That was very generous.
Vipers.
Thank
We
you.
didn't have much.
We
of
don't.
anything.
We don't talk
I
about
said
that.
Yeah, but that's why we talk about our overall
My Instagram,
conference.
yeah. But my Instagram caption after that season was "You win one, you lose some." But your overall conference is way better, and you win like.
I should have posted that. Oh, that's actually good. I didn't write that down.
But you were very. Your team was competitive though. Like
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
I regularly saw you go to 5.
Yeah.
And then just.
Oh no,
not.
yeah, we won some sets.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of terminating. That was our biggest issue, honestly. And the thing that we talked about so many times, we just weren't. We would get like a lead,
Yeah.
and like we'd win. We're like, oh my gosh, like let's go, we can do this, and then we would lose it for some reason. Like we just
Got a bit complacent.
I mean,
or
go
something.
get complacent. Exactly, we just
Yeah.
didn't want it. It just there was not enough grit, and we're just
Is it like?
throwing the towel. And
You could disagree with me. Like looking at the stats wise, your kill percentage was pretty low, but your efficiency. Oh, sorry. No, your team.
Team?
But because you weren't getting kills, but like your efficiency wasn't necessarily terrible because you
Yeah.
weren't making a lot of errors.
That's the thing. We had some. We could hit the ball obviously, but we just couldn't terminate it because
Yeah.
part of it's because we were young. All our outsides were really, really young. I could be considered the most senior for the previous season I just came back from.
Well,
I
you were
was-
the best player, statistically.
Well, I was probably the most experienced too.
Yeah.
And given that half our team just did leave after 2 years, but that's another thing. But we had a good efficiency. We just didn't kill enough because I think that just comes with age and experience and just trying to develop muscle and strength.
risking it as well, I feel
Yeah,
like.
and risking it, learning how to risk it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I was a very stark, like, oh my God, that is a thing, is how good the NCAA is at defense.
Yeah.
Like, the defense in that league is wild. Like, easily one of the most entertaining leagues in the world to watch because once you get higher into the pro leagues, the rallies are really short. Even in women's, the rallies are quite short. But for whatever reason,
It doesn't even look like the quality of the skills
Oh,
is
that
is
different.
any different
No.
at NCAA.
it just seems
finals,
like
like-
the defense
Yeah.
is so good.
It was just frustrating to play against. I mean,
Yeah.
naturally, okay, not many people. I find this as a pattern. I don't know if it's just me, but not many people block the opposites because they don't get set as much. So it's very much on the outsides. I feel like the defense is good. But like it was just like, especially the liberos, obviously the best of the best. And then you've got like defensive specialists and it's like, oh, fuck, like I can't. What do you mean I can't hit at the middle? Like the liberos there, like I can't.
It's like that was one thing as well. Like Alex and I were talking about the fact that there's 15 subs per game, and it's so much. But also like
They
I
mismanaged
can't
it in the
complain.
final. They mismanaged it in the final and they had a defensive sub playing in the middle. It was hilarious.
The amount of times that has happened, especially not to us, but like to other people too, it's just insane because like either the coaching staff just didn't know.
Do they just
didn't
not
plan-
expect to ever
They're
hit
like-
15? I would never even, if we had 15 subs, I would never even think about hitting that. I'd be like,
Yeah.
we don't-
So, no, because
we don't think about using like there's a defensive player for each middle. There's a
Yeah.
sub for each poor set. Like
But liberos
Yep.
also get to serve in NCAA.
Yeah.
women's only.
Women's,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
Did
couldn't
you all
complain.
libero serve?
Yes,
Because some don't. Some do.
Yeah.
I think ours
That's an
did.
option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so they switched it up depending on who we're playing, but I didn't mind it because that means I was out of the defense lineup because they'll just hit at me. I hate defense with a passion. You can tip on me and I'll be the slowest motherfucker to the floor. I'll be like, you could be
I'm
up,
not
turn up in
touching
the air,
that
like,
ball.
oh, like let me. I go back and then I go, yeah, no. But it's a lot. Sometimes I just don't.
You got a lot of digs on the stat sheet. Actually, there's no
did
category
it go
for
up?
reception. Just
That's
says
the
digs.
thing.
It just says total.
It could just be
says
free
digs.
balls.
It could just be free balls.
Free
balls.
I could have just touched it, but
I'm
I'm
going to
just
assume
like,
they only count positives.
I don't know.
The stat keeping for NCAA is also very good.
Yeah.
They
Very
do attribute 0.5 blocks, correct? If you're just
Yeah.
involved in the blocking,
Yeah.
you get a 0.5 point.
Yeah, we have a stat dude
Which is
on our bench.
That's pretty good.
He's just there, like not even look. I mean, obviously he did like studied IT or something, but all stat dudes is just like boom on like they're just like watching the game. Like, I mean, I don't know how it works, but like there's obviously some program to do all that stuff. But
Yeah.
like it's insane.
What's
I think
the
they
match
use
day-
data volley.
Yeah.
I think they use data volley.
What's the match day coaching staff like? Are you talking to a secondary assistant? How many people are on the bench?
I can
How many
talk you through it. It's
Yeah,
nothing.
okay.
It's not that special. So let's say if it's anyway, match game day, it would be if it's like I don't know 7 p.m. or something. It would have training in the morning, and then we for like an hour or so like serve and pass, and then we'll have lunch together as a team. So everyone must come together as a team. We'll get something catered for us, and then we'll go through our schedule for the pre-game match, and then we wouldn't do much. We'd just chill together until like 1 hour, 60 minutes on the clock shows up, and then our coach would come in, say the same shit over again, like we can do it.
You
Forget
can do
about
it.
last week.
And the week
got
before.
this. And the week before that, actually, just the whole 3 years that we've been here, just forget about that. Tonight it's
Today's a new day.
Today is a new day. Every single think of it independently, and then, we'll go out at like 50 minutes, and then we'll just warm up, lose, come back.
No, not every time.
Not
Every time except for one.
Indiana. Indiana, we did win.
Were they good? I don't know if they were good or not. Are they second?
Was that a
last?
home?
No, they were middle of the ladder.
Oh,
There you go.
Was that home?
2024.
I don't know. I think that was.
I was looking at 2024.
Yeah, no, that was at home because we didn't play them at their stadium. No, that was home. Yeah, we won.
But you got lots of wins overall, which is against
Yeah, over the past
non-conference.
3,
No,
4
last
years.
year you got a fair few.
3.
6.
Is that overall conference?
Yeah, that was overall.
Yeah, there you go. It makes it way
Anytime Alex
better.
answers, I can't tell if he's lying.
That's heaps. We've had seasons worse than that.
One season.
And then
And we don't talk about it.
yeah, we don't talk about it.
it all the time.
Yeah, we do. Do you know why? Sorry, cut you off.
No, there's no.
Do you know why that season was so bad? Because that season locally, we won the grand final and then went into the next AVL season and lost every game. It was such a...
Is that great? Is that this one? That you?
Yeah, it was that one.
Yeah, it was.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about
it.
it.
It's hard not to talk about when you got this.
It's quite secret.
It's
It's allowed secret. It's allowed.
It's the inside joke. Yeah.
I see.
Which we talk about every episode.
That's all inside.
Anyways, so scouting. Is there a lot of scouting? I imagine there would be.
Oh,
because
yeah.
You would have to, and the footage is so available.
Yeah.
Is it just like...
So it's hard not to compare to other teams because
you weren't...
they do it more extensively than we do, I'd say. But we did try a bit better. But usually how we would do it was we would say like, you know, for in season would watch film like 2 or 3 days before we were supposed to play. The coaching staff would go through each position. So it would be middles. It would be outsides first, then we'll go middles, and then we'll go opposites. And then we'll talk about their tendencies, where they would hit, where if they tip or not, where they stand in defense. And then it'll go flip onto us saying what our offense should be, where we should hit, what we should do. And then they realized that because we were losing so much, they should change their scouting dynamics. So it was now we did film. So like 2 or 3 days before we play, we would go off on our own and we would write our own notes, which I feel like we should have done that before.
Yeah.
Because then, like, we obviously write the notes. We remember what we should do. We remember what our plan should be. And then we'll present it to the group. And then we do that same sequence as before where we go through every single player or their hot hitters or whatever. And then we'll talk about what we should do. And, yeah, we'll have a little notebook. I should have brought it, sorry.
all right.
But, yeah, I had some nice details on Nebraska and Minnesota if anyone wants them. But it's not...
Did it help you?
Clearly not, no. Indiana, yes.
Like this is something you and I talk about a lot, is like how effective is scouting?
Yeah.
It's a hot topic. I'm in...
Because it's how much do you adapt your game
And how
to
much-
what you're playing, or just
And how much do
Yes.
strong?
how much do you retain as well? Like
Yeah.
Alex and I's two big things. Well, let me guess. I know what my thing is. My thing is that 9 times out of 10, you'll probably win if you play to your own strengths.
Yes.
And then the 10th time is if you are up against a team that is pretty much as good as you, and that 5% is what got them over the line. Like
Yeah.
that's my opinion. But I can also see how one good piece of good scouting advice could change the tide pretty heavily. And I know,
especially against teams that might not be multifaceted. If
Yes.
there is sort of a glaring weakness, you can do that 100% of the time and it
Yeah.
will work 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But the best teams are the teams that have actual multiple options, or the best players have multiple options. So you can't really plan that.
No,
Otherwise,
you
you're just
can't.
going to your own strengths rather than trying to
right.
handicap yourself.
But-
Go,
Yeah.
I suck at blocking cross, but now I have to only block that. Like,
Yeah. I also found, especially like experience with like, you know, Vipers and stuff, not that I think scouting is bad, but sometimes when you go through, as you just said, every single player, every single rotation and their tendencies,
Yeah.
there's like, you know, and there's going to be a certain coach that listens to this and is like, well, you should have retained it. And like, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right, but I couldn't.
But I will also
Yeah.
say more people on teams need to retain equal information.
Oh, yeah.
Or try
It should be
as
a
well.
collaborative.
Because
Yeah.
that's why. But that probably sounds a bit better that you're all watching it and
Yeah.
all bringing back your own notes. I'm going to detour a bit to a different
I have one
concept.
more question.
Oh, you got one more. Okay.
What do you think about the whole scouting thing? Now that we've both shared
Yeah.
our, like, what do you, like, did you think it was worth doing all that? Or would you rather train more? Or would you rather just go, this is their biggest strength, let's stop that, and everything else is just let's play as good as we can? Like,
Well,
what do
I
you
think we
reckon?
did both. We kind of implemented all of that into one thing. It was obviously if you have, I can't think of a particular team, but like if obviously there's one team that has a standout hitter, kind of our training would revolve around that and trying to
Right.
shut them down. Because if it's their go-to hitter, then if you shut them down, then the
No
whole team will
worries.
crumble.
Yeah.
But I agree with the sense that like if you do too much scouting, it will literally go over some people's heads and they'll just
Yeah.
go in one ear, out the other ear.
Yeah.
But I do agree that you need to know who you're up against, who you're playing, and certain tendencies, because that can help your game. But obviously don't compromise how you play yourself. Because I think I did that a few times, especially in preseason. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, this player does this. I need to tailor my style of game and play to their
what
style.
they're doing, yeah.
And I got
hard.
I hit 2, and I think in the game I hit killed 2 things, and I was shit. So I was like, actually, this is not working. Obviously, you find my strengths, but just take on their highlights and their who I'm blocking against, which will be outsides, their biggest hits
Like
and what
maybe the
have you.
shot winner or whatever. it may
Exactly.
be,
But if
yeah.
it was like an amazing play like Just Music or like Harper.
You just copy it.
It's just like,
we're gonna lose this.
okay, like
Yeah.
the defenders will get that. I did my best. I funneled it to you. You're fine. But like,
luck.
but good luck. But I agree. Scouting is important. Just don't compromise how you play because
Yeah.
you're not like them. They're not like you. So
I like that a lot, yeah.
For the listeners, NCAA, you have a certain amount of eligibility to actually play. 3 years, I think, is the standard.
yeah,
There's a thing called redshirting where if there's circumstances that you can't play percentage of the season, I
Yeah.
think it's whatever it is, you may be able to directly tell.
yeah, 30%. I think.
You get extra years of eligibility. A lot of
Yes.
athletes got it over COVID, so there's people going their 5th year of
Well,
eligibility.
Anna De Beer of note, she played 5 years.
Yeah, and then didn't get to play in the final because of injury.
Yeah, that's
Brutal. I dare say, side note, if she played, they probably would.
yeah, most
But
likely.
for yourself, you had an injury in your first year.
Yes.
What was that injury? Or
It was within the first few months. It was a bilateral ab strain. It was like a high grade 2 tear where literally
Yeah.
bottom there's like something was. But obviously the muscles were tearing, and if I went more, it would have been a gaping hole in the middle of my
Oh, that sounds
abdomen.
awful.
probably interesting for it to happen in your first year where you're probably not established into the team yet.
Yeah.
Did you have a role in the team still, scouting wise and sitting on the bench? Like, did you still feel involved?
I still felt, I felt involved. Given that I came in July, and I think I sustained it in September. So I was kind of like newish in the team, but like I was just that freshman that everyone's like, like you'll be fine, you'll be okay. But like my coach saw me as I don't know if I should say this, but she saw me as like a little mole, if you reckon, if you like
Wow.
relay what I hear in the team and relay that back to the coaching staff. But that was her role in her eyes. I didn't say,
Wow.
I definitely wasn't like that, but like I was just like that token Australian that she'll be all right, she's all good. Not a strong role. I was just because I didn't establish myself as a player. I didn't know what my skill set was like, so I was just like on the sideline there for support. So I was a supportive person because a lot of shit happened that year. But honestly, I was kind of glad that happened, that I sustained an injury, just because it gave me extra time to figure out who I am as a person in that team and what is needed in that Big Ten conference. I was like, this is the style of play I need to come up to. Yeah, sick, I can do that, but let me just like... so it was kind of like a blessing in disguise, really, because I had time to warm up to the Big Ten.
The start, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I imagine would, as we spoke about earlier, super jarring. Like going from state league to the Big Ten.
It's like, what do you mean? Like they set like two, like I'm not, because in state league it's like, ooh, like nice high set. But like,
I mean, you had a bigger stepping off point than state league. You played national team.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, you did play
But
a little bit of national
you
team.
No,
We often rag on Lorenzo Pope for his last game before going pro was like Oakley and Eastside playing against each other.
yeah.
And he went to like Modena and Perugia. Like that was the difference.
yeah, seamless transition there. No, it was jarring because it was so bloody fast. I was like, especially blocking too. I was like, holy shit! Like it was. I can talk about it for ages, but like it's intense, especially in the Big Ten, and you like, oh my goodness, it's just wow. Like I was just like, I'm just speechless. It was insane watching them play. I was more of a fan than a player. I was just like, did you see how she hit that? And my friend was like, yeah,
Get
fucking
used
hits.
to it.
Get used to it. Like she's
yeah.
gonna come for you. I was like, okay, that's fine. No, it was great. It was jarring though.
But that's like That's like the best though. Like
Oh, yeah.
I reckon that was me my first couple AVL seasons. Not that
Yeah.
it's anywhere near the same, but like that's one of the coolest parts of volleyball. Like I feel like it doesn't happen all the time, but you've got to like.
It's amazing, mate. I shat myself every single time. I was like, what do you mean I have to like hit against
You'll
6'8" people?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna be up on that court, and I was, and it's still low key terrifying, but
Still, like, have you got any more?
No, that's pretty rad. Like it's.
I got one.
Yeah.
I got one more. Sorry. Out of all the people you played against, who is the most like starstruck that you got with? Like, are we talking like a Harper Murray, or are we talking like a Jess Merzick, or
yeah.
did you play against Maddie Skinner when she was in? Was she Texas?
She went from I think
She was. I think she was Louisville, then Texas, then back. I don't know.
something like that. No, I didn't get to play against her, unfortunately. That would have been sick, but I wouldn't be on the receiving end of that. Did you see the girl
Yeah.
that delivered? She's like smack bang.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah,
video.
thank God.
She hits the ball very hard.
I didn't get to play against her, unfortunately, but look, at the same time, I don't really care about who I play against because I don't want to put them on a pedestal. I never really did, but like in terms of
I
like,
suppose they were the opponent. Yeah.
yeah, and at the same time, I just did not care. I was like, okay, whatever, you're good. But in terms of skill and how they play, I'm trying to think of like all the teams I played against.
Probably a massive list. I was just thinking while you think of
I
that,
was like, I need the list in front of me.
while you think of that player, I was just thinking of how the last time I put a player on a pedestal that I played against them, it was Nathan Roberts, and he six-packed me in that match. And I hope he listens to this and listens to me saying that. My nose still hurt. No, I'm joking.
Still got
Yeah,
stitches
actually,
under your chin.
come to think
My
of it,
chin
that
still
game.
does hurt though.
Nose is still crooked, yeah.
Well, okay.
It's obviously there's so many because you've got Nebraska, you've got Harper, you've got
Or Lexi as well.
Lexi. I mean, I did ace her like 1 or 2 times. So,
That's a rarity. Not many people
I know.
can say
It was
that.
like, listen, you like aced like the number one libero, like whatever in the country. I was like, hell yeah, I did. That doesn't mean anything to me. Ellie, no, not Ellie Baton-Horst. Oh my goodness, I forgot her name. She's on Nebraska, the curly head opposite. Oh, this is so bad. I should know.
The opposite.
I just don't care.
What?
Merritt Benson.
Merritt Beeson?
Merritt Beeson.
yeah.
She's pretty good.
She's
Yeah,
wicked.
yeah.
She
Her.
did stink it up in the semi-final though. Not gonna
Happens.
lie. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Sarah Franklin from Wisconsin.
She's wicked as
She
well.
is wicked. Like,
She's in playing Love now, the new
Yeah.
pro league.
Yeah.
like no matter you can. It's same with Jess Merzick. Same boat. Both of them. They're just like they're so athletic and so skilled. They can see the block so well and just know their shots, know the opposing team and where their weaknesses are, and they just run circles. I mean, they definitely ran circles around us because we're so fucking easy. Like, I like to think that I did do something with my block, but they were just so freaking good.
I feel like there was a week where you were top 10 blockers, Alex.
Hey, you want season stats?
Yeah, by all means, yeah, give it to them.
You're in top 20 kills per set, so that's pretty solid.
That is
It's not
pretty
bad.
solid. I'd be
I don't know what I got.
concerned though, considering you're getting 70% of the balls.
Really?
Well, that's what you said. That was at the stat?
No, that was feeling spiritual.
Especially, yeah,
Guess. Yeah, okay.
I have no clue. Not so close to 1,000, but 1,000 kills, but I didn't get that. If I played another year, for sure, I'd hit that, but
Well, you're at like
coulda, shoulda,
700.
woulda.
No,
Yeah.
like
I
was like 900
for your 3
Oh,
years.
You get that
After
in
3 years, yeah.
2 games.
Yeah.
Just have a couple. Who's the opposite in Olivia Babcock? Is that her? She got like 60 points in a match. You see that? It was in the quarterfinal. Yeah, sorry. It was the semifinal against Louisville, and she hit 60 balls or 30 balls from 60 sets, and it still wasn't enough to win against Louisville.
Like,
It happens.
and they will do it.
What? Does Mike set you 60 times and you get 30 kills?
He has.
He'd be happy if you got 30 kills.
Set me that much.
I mean, I don't even get on the course, so it's fine. Although, there's 3 opposites in the same room, guys.
I'm gonna pass it up.
I'm now an opposite.
Oh, you're past it now?
Nah,
Oh.
I wish.
I love that she believed you. I knew you were straight.
I've been a pass hitter. Back in those GMVA days, I was a pass hitter.
So was I, but they all come to opposites. That's where the real heat is at.
Yeah, well.
That's like the best position. But that's just me. Don't get to pass.
Yeah. Nah, I hate passing. I like hitting, even though I'm tiny, but like whatever.
So you're so
But in this room, I am though. I'm the shortest here.
on paper, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I thought you were making fun of him, telling him to not set himself short. Just,
Oh, yeah, no, that too. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
You saw that through.
All right, I'll cop it. That's fine. I deserve it. Was that all we got?
I think that's all for today.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for having me.
Yeah.
Having a chat with us about all things college and
It's been
All
really
things college.
informative.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people, I hope people, like enjoy the, I guess, not sugarcoating what it's like.
oh yeah,
Because
realistic
that
talk
happens-
about
that
a
happens
volleyball
lot.
journey because everyone's volleyball pathway is different. So if you can take bits and pieces from as many people as possible.
Yeah.
If anyone wants more information, you know where to find me.
Private Instagram account.
Private Instagram. Oh, like I was about to say a state league on Saturday.
run
I'm
up
there
to her
literally
and
at
say,
8
run
a.m.
up
and
to her,
say,
yeah.
my daughter loves you. You're gonna get. You can be a celebrity at state league.
Yeah.
Bigger than
I could act
Nebraska.
like that.
Tell you what, there's a good chance.
Good chance.
Yeah, good chance.
Yeah, we'll
Are you
see.
going to be hitting 70% of the balls as well?
You just gotta
I'll ask my setter.
You just
to
gotta
set
hit
me.
one huge ball and then no one will forget who you are.
I haven't touched a volleyball in 2 months. So we'll see
That's
how we
good.
play.
That's all right. You're actually
Beating.
playing for me in a tournament in like a week. So
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. That could be a trial for Melbourne.
That could be a shame. That could be
you
a shame
heard it.
though if you play bad.
Sorry?
It's going to be a shame on the podcast if you play bad.
He was about to
Yeah.
say if you put in
Maybe we get you on the week after we talk about it.
what post-match
Some
interview.
debrief. We'll get the team in. We'll get more microphones.
That was my little bribe for the brownies to get me back on. Next time I bring
Please
back.
have me again.
Our last guest didn't bring us any brownies.
Oh no,
so
Nathan. Where's the?
Yeah, so, yeah.
He could have Uber Eats them to us.
He could have.
Yeah.
Okay, I set a standard. That's good.
All right. Every guest from now on. Our next guest.
It progressively gets bigger.
Anyone overseas must send us food.
Oh yeah, the national dish.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you everyone for listening. We appreciate it. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Discord, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. The list goes on. I always forget, even though it's written here.
So, in whatever order you want.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys.